Yes, I admit that this is a weird title for an episode. Neville Goddard's imagination solves all your problems. How could that possibly be true? Well, as always, please allow me to start this episode, or at least, as usually, please allow me to start this episode with a direct quote from Neville Goddard. And this quote comes from The Law and the Promise. When man solves the mystery of imagining, he will have discovered the secret of causation, and that is, imagining creates reality. Therefore, the man who is aware of what he is imagining knows what he is creating, realizes more and more that the drama of life is imaginal, not physical. All activity is at bottom imaginal. An awakened imagination works with a purpose. It creates and conserves the desirable and transforms or destroys the undesirable. So yes, imagination can solve all your problems because all your problems are the creation of imagination, because everything is the creation of imagination. And now you might be screaming, yeah, but I didn't manifest that, I didn't do that, I'm in this position because I'm a victim. Well, when I think back to my own life, and I think back to my own old life, so to speak, when I had my health issue, my cyst in my bladder that had to be removed and the nerve damage that I then had from it, I can confidently say I was in a state, in a vibration, in a frequency, on a level of consciousness where nothing but, excuse my language, shitty things could have happened to me. I was not in a vibration where abundance could flow to me. I was not in a frequency where love and health was a part of my life. I was constantly stressed, I was overworking myself, and I was always imagining the worst possible scenario as an outcome because I was in pure survival. And as a result of that, well, that exactly is what happened. That exactly is what manifested. And that's why I now want to invite you to think about each and every sentence from this quote from Neville Goddard. When man solves the mystery of imagining, he will have discovered the secret of causation. And that is, imagining creates reality. So your imagination creates your reality. Your imagination creates the reality that you either want to live. And this is so important for everyone on this journey to understand that by imagining the worst possible outcome, by constantly going into the state of, oh my God, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly happen? What's the worst case scenario? You are creating the worst case scenario in your life. It might not express itself exactly the way you imagine it, but from the frequency, it will express itself somehow. And I can confidently say that that was the case for me in my life. And the same is true for the life that you always wanted. For the abundance that you really want, for the relationship you really want, for the experiences you really want to experience. By going into the imaginary act, you create these experiences. By feeling yourself into the state of the wish fulfilled, you create from your imagination into your physical reality. And therefore, and again I quote Neville Goddard, the man who is aware of what he is imagining knows that he is creating, realizes more and more that the drama of life is imaginal, not physical. The drama that you're experiencing right now, maybe you are in debt, maybe you're in a toxic relationship, you on some level created it. I mean, I've had these conversations with countless coaching clients that when they finally realized that they, for example, and that's just an example now, but that they learned from their narcissistic parents that love means this narcissistic behavior, or at least that's what they learned as a child, that they then ended up in relationships with exactly the type of partner that they consciously wanted to avoid. But the subconscious program said, this is love, attract this kind of partner, because the imagination without them actually being consciously aware of it, was still anchored in that belief system from the past, in this program from the past. And the same is true here, for example, struggling with money. I mean, how many of my amazing coaching clients who have joined the Abundance Reality Shift coaching program have admitted to me that they carried around all kinds of limiting beliefs from the past, from their childhood about money. And a lot of them were not even aware of these limiting beliefs until we uncovered them and brought them into the light in the very first session, which is, in fact, the first session of the 8 sessions of the Abundance Reality Shift coaching program that you can find out more about by going to affirmation2manifestation.com/abundance or by simply clicking on the first link in the description. So a man, or of course also a woman who is aware of what he or she is imagining, knows what he or she is creating, realizes more and more that the drama of life is imaginal, not physical. And here comes one of the most powerful realizations from this quote. If the drama of life is imaginal, that means that the fulfillment, the happiness, the joy of life is also imaginal, not physical. It means, as Neville Goddard then continues in this quote, all activity is at bottom imaginal. Which means that yes, also the happiness, the joy, the fulfillment that you want to experience in your life is imaginal. It's an imaginary act that you can go into, with which you then create this experience, create this reality in your physical reality. So first comes the imagination, then comes the physical expression of the imagination, which is basically the exact opposite of what we've been conditioned with for decades, for centuries, to believe that we are victims of our external circumstances, and that then when something happens to us, then we can maybe imagine how it could have been differently, and we then daydream about a different life. And that's why it's so important for you to let go of this old paradigm and to realize that first comes the imagination, and then the imagination creates it into your physical reality. So remember, all activity is at bottom imaginal. And the last sentence that I want to share with you, the last 2 sentences. An awakened imagination works with a purpose. It creates and conserves the desirable and transforms or destroys the undesirable. So if you have an awakened imagination, if you imagine your future, you imagine how you want to live, where you want to live, what you want to do, the money that you want to earn, and you then have this strong purpose, this purpose of, yes, that's my why, that's why I want it, that's why I want to live that way, that's why I want the money, then you're doing it right. And then, as Neville Goddard says, it creates and conserves the desirable and transforms or destroys the undesirable. And I've experienced that in my own life. I mean, if you would have met me 4 years ago, or let's better say 5 years ago, maybe before all of this started, because 4 years ago I was already starting on my spiritual journey, but let's say 5 to 6 years ago, you would have talked to somebody who's extremely depressed, who's completely broke, who's stressed out every day, who has a very, very negative self-perception and also negative perception of other people. I was just not a fun person to be with, to be honest. I was just not that person. And nowadays, I live in a fulfilling relationship. I have more money than I could possibly spend. I am healthy again. I mean, yeah, I fully recovered from my health issue, and I am living a fulfilling life. I'm living a wonderful life. And all because of my awakened imagination, all because I created and conserved the desirable. And by doing that, I transformed my life and I destroyed the undesirable. I destroyed the self that was sick. I destroyed the self that was broke. I destroyed the self that felt unlovable and unworthy of love. I destroyed this self, and with the power of imagination, I created a new self. And by doing that, I created a whole new reality and a new life for myself. And I know that you can achieve the same. And if it's abundance that you want, if it's more money that you want, then you might want to go to affirmation2manifestation.com/abundance to find out more about the Abundance Reality Shift coaching program. And if there's anything you want to discuss with me in an individual coaching session or an individual hypnosis session, then I also invite you to click on the second link in the description or to go to affirmation2manifestation.com/coaching, because there you can find out more about all the different coaching sessions I offer. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please send out some love to the YouTube universe by giving this video a big thumbs up. And I would also appreciate it if you would leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to click on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video for you.